In classic Masai Ujiri fashion, he made a trade in the middle of the night last night. Jakob Poeltl is now a Toronto Raptor for Khem Birch, a first-round pick that's protected through 1 to 6, and 2 second-round picks. Guys, grade it. Jelani Goodridge-Reid and Justin Pooni, grade it for me.
Well, because I don't know what we're doing yet, okay? Because I still expect a deal to happen, another deal. I think there's going to be another move today. We'll see. For now, I look at it as a C. Like, it's an okay deal.
That's generous.
Okay deal, right? So it's an average deal. Why? You get, so the positives here, right? There are positives here. You do shore up the spot that, you know, we've been talking about all season long that needs help. Center, right? The center position has been a struggle for us. And you're looking across the Eastern Conference, you see the other teams, they're, you know, they got their guy. The Raptors needed their dude. Right now, Jakob Poeltl, he has been playing better, especially since we drafted him. He has been able to develop, become a double-double machine. So that's good. Okay, so you get your center in there who can actually, he's pretty good at passing the rock. He's a guy that will be active at the rim, which the Raptors need on both ends of the court, on both sides of the ball. So that's good for us, right? And I think this is definitely a long-term play, given the fact that they, you know, re-sign him, of course, give him his money, because that's what they're gonna have to do, right? Unless there's another a plan this offseason. So this is the long-term play. I think this is a long-term, you know, solution at center, at the center spot moving forward for this young Raptors.
So Justin, what does this mean for the other two guys that have to get paid this summer in Gary Trent Jr. and Fred VanVleet?
I have, like Jelani said, we got to wait and see what happens in the subsequent hours leading up to the deadline, because it baffles me why they would make this trade. Yes, the positive is they address their center position, but with a guy they have to pay in the offseason anyway, who's going to get a hefty raise because, like you said, he can pass, he's a double-double machine, he's good defensively, he understands the system, and Nick Nurse, I get it. Okay, that's the positives, right? But how does it fit with the timeline we've been talking about the last couple weeks on where this franchise is going to go forward, right? I don't understand the move and giving up a first-round pick, a valuable first-round pick that could help in other ways. But in terms of your question about Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr., if they keep both of them, they're going to be in the luxury tax, right? And if they want to keep all three, it's going to cost you $70 to $75 million, right? That's a lot of money for players who are good players, but not, I think, championship players. On not all of them, but like important piece on a championship level team. We have to wait and see. Like I said, it's also
incomplete. I feel like when you're also gonna end up, let's say people are saying that this also means Gary Trent and Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby, one of those guys is gonna have to move. If not one, two. Someone's gonna have to go. But my question in that is, if you're going to get them away, right? That means you're giving your starting spot now to Poeltl to say you're now a starting point on this team. Like, we want you to lead this team. You're gonna be a center for the Toronto Raptors, and in that way, you're also going to give away someone in Gary Trent, Fred VanVleet, or OG Anunoby, which I think in this point, people say it might make sense to move OG Anunoby because those two guys are shooters. Poeltl isn't, and OG can't make his own shot. So it makes sense, perhaps OG goes, but then again, OG is a great shooter too. So OG has that value there. Like, he's good at, come on, Justin, don't make that face. He's not bad.
He's good, right? Look, I know you want to keep OG, right? I know you've been beating that drum for weeks. You want to keep him.
It's not personal. It's the fact that he fits this team in the future.
I understand exactly what you're saying, right? I understand that, right? But what I'm saying is this. Now that Mikal Bridges is back in the market, that's going to affect the OG price thing, I think. Because teams might offer more, and that might diminish his value slightly. So
I think if you're looking at the Western Conference specifically, after KD's deal actually happened, the reports are already coming out that the OG value has
gone up. But now that Mikal Bridges is back out there,
we'll see because there are definitely teams that might prefer Bridges, like you're saying. But same way, I still expect a team to definitely be desperate.
Somebody's gonna offer
due to
something
the fact
for him,
that there've been so many deals going down, especially Western Conference.
And probably in the West.
That might want to, because the Grizzlies are out there. Who knows? They might want to do something. I've been talking about for weeks the Golden State Warriors. They might want to do something because I think they have to. So there's definitely guys out there, teams that I should say, that would want his services. But just back to this Poeltl point real quick. I also think this is good for locker room. Because he's been here, okay? And he's Pascal's one of Pascal's boys, so maybe
Yeah.
that makes him happy. You're telling Pascal, you know what, we trust you moving forward.
Yep.
We're gonna keep having this crew with you, with Scotty. We're gonna bring in a guy you like and have played with before.
Yeah.
There is some experience there, even though it was short time. But I think
when Masai
yeah.
pulled the Siakam in that press conference, it's going to be like, hey buddy, guess what? I'm bringing your
Could
best
be.
bestie
That
back.
could have been. That could have
He's
been.
gonna be
But
here.
I think like we all can agree this cannot be the only move the Raptors
Absolutely
make.
not.
This
Absolutely
cannot be the only move they make
No,
because
no.
Okay, so that would be because now you're thinking you have to pay everybody, so they can't pay
Yes.
everybody, right? Also, the fact that you gave up so many draft picks, does that mean you need to acquire them again? My
Exactly.
question to that, though, the draft picks is, if you got Poeltl for 3, right? 1 first round with 2 second round, and now you want to give away one of OG, not Siakam, OG, Fred VanVleet, and Gary Trent to acquire those picks back, does it not really mean that you also traded those guys to get Poeltl here? So let's say you trade OG. In a way, it is, isn't it? So in a way, it's
But-
like if you trade OG to get those draft picks back, you traded OG for Poeltl.
Not necessarily, because you're gonna get more picks back, more first round picks, right? Back for OG and Anunoby, which we all know first round picks are a lot more valuable than second round picks. And the Raptors,
You gave up one anyway.
You gave up one, which I think is ludicrous.
And remember though,
Ludicrous.
the Spurs wanted multiple.
They wanted multiple.
They wanted two first,
So-
yeah.
for-
for
yeah.
which
Poeltl.
to me is again another.
Like I would say,
I
I think it was a W for the Raptors in terms of, like, if you look at what the Spurs wanted
in the short term.
Yeah, no. If you look at what the Spurs initially wanted, right? They would want a guy, off the bench. They got Birch, right? But they wanted plenty more picks.
They wanted Gary
right?
Trent as well.
And the Gary thing, because I thought if you're gonna get Poeltl, I thought that Gary maybe a 3-team. I don't know.
Yeah.
So in that case, I think that's fine. It's a W
For me,
Raptors.
the biggest thing, if the Raptors were like in like the 7 to 8 range in the playoff picture, I'm okay. This is a really good move, right? But the fact that they're fighting for the final playoff play-in position,
that's what
that to me is very
saying.
confusing.
That's what I'm
right?
saying. Nor, I think there has to be another deal. There has to be, because you can't tell me that the Raptors, looking at the landscape of the Eastern Conference, are satisfied. Okay, you want to be buyers, cool, but you gotta do more than this.
Or you just mentioned the Eastern Conference, right? This is my devil's advocate stance on this.
It can't be this.
I know you definitely can't, but Brooklyn just blew it up. They're completely a different team now. Uncharted man's territory. You have 3 teams in the conference that are definitely going to make noise. Then the Celtics, the Bucks, and Philly. Cavaliers, somewhat, we'll see what happens, but Bulls are struggling, Hawks are struggling. You see Pacers climbing up, Magic climbing up. Heat are also struggling. Heat are also in the middle of no man's land because they want to figure out what's going to happen with Lowry. How do you pair other guys? I think they want to make a run at Kevin Durant as well. So those are factors there where if I can give Masai and Bobby one inkling of why they might have done this, is to be like, the next couple years, you have, Justin, don't make that face. Let me finish. The next couple years, this conference is now open, right? In a sense of a word, it's open. So if you, in terms of like having a super team, you don't have that. If you have a better team that can compete against these guys, I don't think Masai wants to tank. He doesn't want to go down the route of rebuilding all over again because he thinks you're very closer, you're a lot closer, to the playoffs than you are to tanking. And I can see that point because, again, the Eastern Conference is a little bit shaky.
Let me ask you guys this. Would you rather Raptors make the playoffs the next couple of years and just get bounced in the first and second round?
You
every
don't
year?
listen to, you
No,
don't
but- no,
listen
but
to
you're
listen.
saying,
You listen to speak next.
You're saying it's open, right? You're saying it's open.
For the
But
Raptors,
in the
it
next
is.
couple of years, are the Raptors anywhere in a playoff series? Would you ever take the Raptors over the Celtics, the Sixers,
But the
the
thing
Bucks,
there
or the
is,
Cavs?
but the
Would you
thing
ever
there
do
is,
it?
this team still is good. Individually,
They
we
are
talked about
good.
this
They're
too.
good.
These guys
They
are
have good
good.
players.
And you
Yeah.
need it. Fred's playing better, right? Gary Trent shooting lights out. Let's say somehow they go on the tax. They keep everybody there, right? Now you have, they probably shouldn't, but this might be their way of thinking because what else would you be getting right now?
Well, I also look at the Raptors, looking at the East, right? A lot of these teams have a bench. That's the other problem with the Raptors. They don't have a bench, right? There's no direction in that aspect. So how are they going to look moving forward with these teams? That I don't know, Nora. It's going to be tough because, okay, obviously you got those 3 teams, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that we're not there. We're not anywhere close.
No, not at all.
But even teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're young and they're ready. They're ready to make some noise. Look at the Knicks. The Knicks, look, I know they're a laughing stock, but this year they are actually playing some good
Very
basketball.
good. And they
Good
just got
pickup.
Josh Hart.
Thank you. I was about to say that. You stole my thunder right
Sorry.
there. Josh Hart, very good pickup, right? And then you're talking about other teams that might. Okay, the Hawks. We'll see what happens with them, right? The Bulls. We'll see what happens with them too, right? The Heat. I still trust that front office to do something at some point, right? So it will be tough for the Raptors. As a personally, as a fan, I think that making the playoffs is fun. It's a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of buzz. Even last year, I didn't expect it, right? But I know that there is a ceiling with this team. I don't know out there. Do you guys, like Justin said, do you want to be, hitting a limit, right? Because
First, second
the,
round
the,
every
ma-
year.
the max,
Bounce
the
up.
max we're gonna reach if you're gonna stand pat like this is second round. If
Maybe,
a matchup,
maybe,
if a matchup
maybe.
helps, right? If
Relax.
there's a matchup that helps us, or if you find a way to get a solid bench, the coaching is
Yeah.
there with Nick Nurse. So I don't know. It's a bit
I will
tough.
say, I think a lot of our thought process, all the fan thought process, was about the fans' perspective because we had no idea what they were doing to begin with. The front office,
still
we
don't
had no
know.
clue. We still
Nobody
have no
knows what
idea,
they're
right?
doing.
Yeah.
No, nothing was made clear. You had no sense of direction with this team whatsoever. And I think watching these trades take
Yeah.
place, having Poeltl come in kind of reaffirms my belief that this,
They
just
wanna
like how
play for
I thought so too. Yeah, I was like, this team is too good to be tanking, and they're
That's
closer to
true.
playoffs.
They're too good to tank,
Yeah.
but they're not there yet in
No,
terms
they're
of
not. No,
contending. So
'Cause they're
that's
stuck-
why
they're
they're
stuck
they
in the
are the
middle.
most confused team right
Yes.
now.
But
in
I
the
think
league,
that's
right?
also why, if you're at that point, well, a GM looking at your executives, your owners and stuff, being like, I want this team to bring me money. I want these fans to sit in the spot. And
That's
I think
true.
that's probably a factor where Masai's like, I'm not gonna tank. I'm gonna try to
Yeah,
give this city something to
Masai
cheer
wants
for.
to
You
win.
know?
We know that. We know he wants to win. We know he wants to be a player. We'll see what happens with this Jakob Poeltl thing. I think Poeltl will definitely help because I've been talking about center and
Yeah,
it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
At the line, we'll see. He's not a good free throw shooter at all, but he does other things for you. Okay,
He's,
so we'll
as
see
you
what
said,
happens.
his assist making, he's 7 in assist amongst centers, next to Bam and Horford. It's a really good list to be
Yeah,
next to.
he could share the ball.
And he doesn't have to shoot much if you're able to set roles with guys like if Fred's gonna stay, Gary's gonna stay, if Scotty's gonna be there, Pascal's there too. And this way also, I think I was concerned about the fact that you're not gonna give Scotty a lot of touches in the paint, but I think that's fine because Scotty also shows he's a really good passer. So this could be a good spot for them pick and rolling,
Pick and
screening
roll.
each other too.
The second
Scotty's
chance points
absolutely.
because the rebounding is there with
Yeah.
Jakob Poeltl. The defensive side of the ball is very
Absolutely.
important in Toronto. We always stress
nobody's-
a lot.
And
The defense
Scotty
hasn't been great, but
No.
Poeltl will be an anchor
And
inside.
Scotty and Poeltl can both screen each other too, so that works out really well for the
Yeah.
paint part of the team.
Nobody's denying that Poeltl is not going to help this team, right? But I feel like
No, it's the sense of direction. Where are we going?
exactly. Then to me, like it just baffles my mind too much for me
I
to
know.
understand this trade because I'm thinking, okay, cool, you got Poeltl, but what's that doing next year or
Well,
the year after?
that's
Well,
my
I
point.
think
That's
they
why.
just
do.
think
That's why
that
I
they're-
think something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's why I also think they
Something.
just think they're a better team than what the record states. I think that's what Masai's thinking, and I think a lot of MLSC people will be like, we're not going down
they
the
are
drain.
better, but
But then
same
again,
way,
your record is what your record
same
is,
way
right?
though. I definitely recommend something else to happen. That's
Well,
just-
we're about 2 hours away from the trade deadline now.
2 hours and 59
2
minutes.
hours.
Okay.
Oh, 3 hours pretty much. Okay,
Okay.
thanks for that one, Justin. So we're 3 hours away from the trade deadline. Let's see if Masai and Bobby have some juices left. And if not, we'll try to figure out what the direction of this team will look like for the next, month and a half? Maybe
5-10 years could be.
if we
Yeah,
make
we'll see.
if
Got
we
a
can
few
make the
hours,
play
3
in.
p.m. Eastern time.
Keep it
Eastern
locked. We'll be
Standard
back again after the trade deadline. So see you guys then.